I don't know how many people have heard of Linzhou, where there is a magnificent Chinese project called the Red Flag Canal. When I first came to see such wide streets and neat urban construction, my impression of a small county town was completely overturned. You look at the two-way 5-lane avenue, which is comparable to Chang'an Avenue. A county-level city has such construction standards, first of all because of the red gene here. I didn't have any concept of this kind of red city before, but when I went to Yan'an once, I found out how much such a place is valued. It was originally a county town, but now it has basically been upgraded to a city-level unit. Moreover, the architectural styles are very unified, full of religious unified styles and scales, and the construction regulation level of Linzhou is even higher than that of Yan'an, where I have been. This is also a unique town of architecture, and many people make building houses their profession. There is also a construction vocational college. They say it is related to the previous construction of the Red Flag Canal, but I think this defense is too far-fetched. I think the Red Flag Canal represents more of a certain perseverance and spirit, and building a house is a real technical job. At the end of this video, of course I will take you to visit the famous Red Flag Canal, but what we are going to talk about in this issue is not this red tourist attraction, but how the economy of this small city is stuck. Of course, this is not just a story about Linzhou, it actually represents the crux of China's economy. This was originally a KTV-only street in Linzhou. As we all know, what is run in this special KTV? When I came here last year, the dazzling neon lights here really surprised me. A red city still has secular places. Now it has become like this. A friend of mine happened to run a KTV here before. He told me that because there were always some social youths fighting and making trouble here in the past year, and minors were found in KTVs, and even murders occurred. The government simply closed all the places here, and similar places were not allowed to operate, such as mahjong halls and billiard halls. Of course, he said that this was only the superficial reason. In fact, an important leader was coming to inspect. As a red tourism destination, of course, there could not be so many down-to-earth places to continue operating. In fact, it is that simple here, and now it has become like this. I think of course some people think that such places should be closed. It is very simple to say that they should be closed, and the same is true for those who have the power to close them. My friend told me that closing this street will not only affect these businesses, but also a series of related businesses such as nearby house rentals, hotels, restaurants, convenience stores, etc. My friend also has a convenience store on this street. Once the entire KTV industry is closed, there will basically be no business, so it can only be closed. So, you will find that when the government makes a decision, it may be related to the livelihood of a large number of people. And if such decisions are made frequently and arbitrarily, the government's credit will decline. Now many entertainment industries here are completely prohibited from applying. My friend is preparing to open a hotel recently, but he is stuck in the process of handling procedures. An administrative staff member is about to retire, and has no possibility of promotion within the system. He just refuses to approve them, and then checks their hotel every day, almost deliberately making things difficult. The hotels next to him that do not meet the standards have been approved, but he can't get the procedures. Then they reported this administrative staff. Who knows that this government staff member will report him in turn? In short, he suffered all kinds of troubles in order to open this hotel. Actually, I filmed this street not just to talk about the problem in Linzhou. I think as long as you watch my show, you will understand that this kind of thing is repeated in many places across the country, especially in the north. The reason why the economy in the north has always been bad is that it does not respect the private economy. Of course, in the 2 days when I made the video, a similar situation also occurred in Chaozhou, Guangdong. Anyone who has done business in China has experienced this more or less. This street in Linzhou is actually just the typical case I took. In the past, the country's economic development level was not high, and various infrastructure construction was needed. A big government could indeed concentrate its efforts on major tasks, and this achievement is obvious to all. But now it is obvious that our government needs to adapt to the new situation. We are no longer short of houses, nor are we short of highways. Even our cars are about to surpass those in Britain and the United States. What is missing? What we actually lack is a fair and transparent environment and a service-oriented government. I think everyone has seen that various economic bloggers have analyzed it very thoroughly, so I don't think I will talk nonsense here. Even if we take a step back and say that our current government is short of money, why would it be willing to strangle itself rather than give up the economy? Obviously, in this regard, some people's official positions are much more important than the economy. I think most Chinese people know the saying that if the water is too clear, there will be no fish, but it is difficult for anyone to really understand the true meaning of this saying. If you expect everything to be perfect, it will often go against the grain. If you expect the road to be wide, clean and tidy, no one will come to do business. If you expect all movie makers to shoot positive and energetic movies, no one will go to the cinema to watch movies. This society is made up of various types of people and needs. If there is only one standard, the economy will naturally have no vitality. So, if you ask me whether this kind of KTV should exist, I can only say that illegal things should be managed. But if it is a one-size-fits-all approach, it can only be a problem of the ability of managers. Anyway, my friend told me that there is no such place in Linzhou now, and everyone has gone to the surrounding areas to drive the economy of other cities. The demand is there, and you can't ban it. Only by respecting people can the economy really get out of the downturn cycle. I think you saw that the content shot by my channel that day was relaxed in this regard, and I think you can buy our stocks with confidence. After all, I came to Linzhou, so let's talk about the Red Flag Canal. I think many people should be like me. They have always heard of the Red Flag Canal more or less occasionally, but they may have no idea what it looks like here and why they should learn the spirit of the Red Flag Canal. I myself have no interest in red tourism. If I hadn't had friends in Linzhou, I wouldn't have known that the Red Flag Canal was here. When I heard that the ticket here is 80 yuan, I was immediately persuaded to quit. The most amazing thing is that I was originally going to use a drone to experience the grand narrative here instead of me. But with my extraordinary record of no crashes, my drone actually fell on the Red Flag Canal. Then, as if it was arranged, in order to find the wreckage of my drone, I spent 3 hours to visit this human miracle. Seeing the scene in front of me, I think people must have been forced to a desperate situation before they thought of digging canals on such a mountain. Of course, if you know history, the people in Lin County seemed to have no other choice in those years. Digging is death, and not digging is death, so they resolutely went up the mountain. If you look from a distance, it may not be easy to feel the grandeur of this project, but only when you stand here, you will find that this is just like building the Great Wall on Fengjian Mountain in Yanshan Mountain. It is completely challenging the limits of human beings. There are several paths on the cliffs, and I can't look down, otherwise I will immediately start to feel dizzy. In order to dig this Xilin County, it took 10 years and 81 people died to dig nearly 100 kilometers. When I walked 2 or 3 kilometers on this cliff, I gradually felt what the people at that time had experienced, and I also understood why this place was used as a typical propaganda. After going down the mountain, I thought of Linzhou again. This place was originally a county town. Why was it upgraded to a municipal unit? Why is it a red tourism city that is so valued, and even the urban construction specifications are higher than Yan'an? It must be that we always need this so-called hard work and self-reliance spirit from time to time. But you must know that Linzhou has been famous for its water shortage for hundreds of years. The 2 words most mentioned in the county annals are drought and cannibalism. This feat that has not been completed for hundreds of years was completed in the 1960s. You can imagine what kind of man-made disasters they experienced in those years that made the people do such a feat. Our current economic environment has encountered various difficulties from inside to outside. Isn't it caused by making one mistake after another? The mistakes made by some individuals always make the people by some. If possible, can we not make such mistakes again, and don't let the people carry forward such a spirit of self-reliance, which will cost lives?